Hello class 10 students, this is Harpreet Kaur from English Frog Club and I welcome you all to the second part of explanation of the chapter Two Stories About Flying. So we are going to do the story The Black Aeroplane from the same chapter. So without wasting any time, let's proceed straight into the explanation of the chapter. So why to wait? Let's proceed. Let's begin with the story of the chapter Two Stories About Flying, and in here we are going to begin with the story The Black Aeroplane. Let's begin with the explanation of paragraph 1. The moon was coming up in the east behind me and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone, high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. Okay, so here the person who is in the aeroplane is looking at the weather, and here the author has started the chapter with some description of the surrounding where the aeroplane was flying, what was the condition of what was the weather there and how the area looked like. So with this we come to know that the pilot was flying and the aeroplane in the midnight, and sky was clear and there were stars shining in the sky, and the pilot was really willing to meet his family. He was hopeful that his flight will be landing soon and he will be meeting his family. I should call Paris control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. So these lines shows that he was quite closer to the sea and he was thinking of now connecting with the Paris control for the landing, for asking for the landing of the aeroplane. And what he did for that, let's see. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control Dakota DS-088 here. Can you hear me? I'm on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS-008, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS-008, over. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. I'll be in time for breakfast. Okay, so he did certain movement of the things and then he turned to the direction where he was directed by the person who was sitting at the Paris control. Okay, so now let's see what he was thinking about. He was very well thinking, as every person, it is normal for a human being whosoever is traveling and is quite close to the home, he or she is willing to see the family and have some kind of have food together with the family. So as it was midnight and he thought that he would be reaching his destination, his home, by morning, and he will be able to have breakfast with his family. So this is what he is describing here. I'll be in time for breakfast, I thought. A good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me. Now Paris was 150 kilometers away. And when I saw the clouds, storm clouds, they were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. Now when he was earlier, it is described that the sky was clear as soon as he moved towards the west direction in order to go to England. So the storm, the weather condition changed and the storm conditions started appearing. He could see black clouds, okay, in the sky, and he knew he could not fly up and over them. So, and he did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or the south. So he was left with no choice. He wasn't having fuel. The Paris was quite far away, 150 kilometers away, and he was not having enough fuel. He was not able to fly in the sky with this storm, and then he had to take the decision what to do, whether to go back or whether to fly through the storm. Let's see what decision did he take. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I'll take the risk. So what did he decide? He decided that he would be taking the risk. I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. Okay, so now how he was flying in that stormy night that is described here. The aeroplane was shaking and he was not feeling comfortable at all. He was really scared whether he would be able to fly through this storm or not. Okay, so he couldn't believe. He looked at his compass, and let's see what happens further. I couldn't believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. Okay, so the compass could not show any kind of direction. It was dead. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. Paris control, can you hear me? Even his radio was also dead. He could not get any answer from Paris control. There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. Then, in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see the pilot's face turned towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. And when someone is struck into this situation, and if he or she finds another person, so at that time some kind of belongingness, some kind of hope is there, and same kind of feeling the pilot of Dakota had when he saw another black aeroplane in the sky, and the pilot was looking at him and he waved at him, and follow me, he was saying, follow me. He knows that I am lost. I thought he's trying to help me. Okay, so he thought that the pilot had come to know that he was lost and he was trying to help him. So let's see, what did the pilot of Dakota do? He turned his aeroplane slowly to north in front of my Dakota so that it would be easier for me to follow him. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. He said that he just started following the aeroplane because he wanted to come out of that stormy situation. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now, there was only enough fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again, but then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. Suddenly, I came out of the clouds and saw 2 long straight lines of lights in front of me. So he was again fall short of fuel, and he looked at his fuel tank. He was having fuel only that he would be able to fly for 5 to 10 minutes, and he really got scared at that time. What will happen if my fuel will be over, and how will I get to my destination? And then he noticed that the black aeroplane pilot was taking the plane down, and he had come out of the storm and he could see two lights. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. There was nothing there. The black aeroplane was gone. I could not see it anywhere. Okay, so when he had seen the runway, and he looked here and there in the sky to find out whether the other pilot was there or not, the other plane was there or not, but he could not find any plane there. I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. So without wasting any time, he straight away went to the control room and he inquired about the other pilot, and as he wanted to thank him for saving his life. She looked at me very strangely and then laughed. Another aeroplane? Up there in this storm, no other aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. So who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio and without any more fuel in my tanks? So when he inquired about the other pilot, the lady very surprisingly answered him back that he was the only aeroplane that she could find on the radar, and there wasn't any other aeroplane. The pilot of Dakota was very surprised, and he said that then who was that person who brought me out of the storm when I was not having any kind of instrument to guide me? I did not have compass, a radio, and he was not having fuel also. Then who helped me? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in storm without lights? He was really surprised to find out that there wasn't any other aeroplane in the sky. So who helped him in that stormy night when he did not have any kind of instrument working on his aeroplane, and he did not have even the fuel to go back to Paris or come to this destination or fly through the storm? And he was really surprised. He was still thinking of then who was that pilot, who was that aeroplane flying without lights? So that's all in this part of the black aeroplane, and it has really a surprising, and it leaves many questions for us to think over. Who was that pilot? Why he helped him? And was it somebody? Was it actually someone, or it was just the imagination of the pilot of Dakota? That's all in this chapter, and with this I come to the end of the explanation video of this chapter. I hope you all have understood the chapter quite well, and we will be meeting in the next video of other chapter explanations and other aspects of learning English textbooks for your class. Bye for now, students, but before I go, I would like to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and don't forget to press the bell icon for the updates of my video, and share my video with your friends and the needy persons, as everyone nowadays is facing problem in attending the classes as we are in this lockdown period. So let's help and spread our lessons to others. Thank you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye for now.